Hey guys, James Elizondo here with the L2P Worship Network. What we're going to try and achieve here is to make a Q&A style text and video blog that you guys can write in with some questions that you may have on, let's say how certain functions of your soundboard operate, or maybe what kind of mic you should use and where, mic placements, speaker choices. I mean, just really any and all questions, and we're going to do our best through video and through text teach you how to answer your questions, give you the answers to those. So what we're going to start off with today is a little bit of basic gain structure. And gain structure really, I guess at its core, is you as the engineer, through the gain control in your console, are going to determine the amount of input level that's coming from any one input into your console. I am going to demonstrate with you guys, or for you guys, this with my console. Now, although my console is different than the one that you have, all of them have the same input meters and achieve the same basic function in the end. So here we go. Alright, so here's what we're going to start out with. I'm actually just using a CD player in my rack over here to be something that generates a signal for us. So I've got a CD playing, and as we can see here on these input meters, your console, like I said, I mean, whether you're running an Allen and Heath, a Midas, a Behringer, a Soundcraft, a PV, you name it, they all have an input meter on every channel. So here's our two channels that we're working with, and we've got our input level. And basically, in a nutshell, what gain is going to do for you is going to control the amount of input signal that's coming into your console. And your amount of input signal coming into the console is directly going to correlate to how much output you can get out of those two channels, whether it's something that you're sending to the main bus, whether it's something you're sending through an auxiliary or through an effects unit. If you don't have enough gain on the channel, you're never going to be able to send enough level to all those various places. So as we can see, we've got an extremely low input level here, and what I'm going to show you guys is that we wait for another song to start. We've got our input level coming in, and I'm going to start to push the faders up. So we're going to push these all the way up to 0, and now we're going to come over here and we're going to look at our master faders, and you'll notice that the amount of input signal that's coming across is kind of almost directly equating to what's coming across our main left and right bus here. The problem is even with those faders up at 0, we should be seeing a lot of level coming over here to the main bus, and we really aren't, because our gain is not set high enough. Even here, if we push the faders all the way up to the top, where that's as loud as they're ever going to get, and we come back here, we're still really not seeing as much signal as we'd like. So the bottom line here is, although we've tapped out the potential of our faders, we still have a lot of room left to go in the console. So we're going to turn these back down, and while this song is playing, I'm going to go up and I am going to start to turn the gain up. And as I start to turn the gain up, we're going to see that now we've got significantly more input signal. And this time I'm only going to push these faders up to maybe about -20 here. So we've added a ton of gain, faders up at -20. We'll look over here, and even with the faders at -20, we're already seeing more signal across our left and right bus than we did before. I'm going to go ahead and start pushing these dogs up a little bit more, and now that I've got my faders up by way of 0, we're actually starting to exercise the main buses, and we're seeing a lot of signal going across those. So it's by raising the gain, it's giving us the potential of being able to send a lot more signal down all these buses. And this is important for us in a couple regards. Of one, that you don't have to necessarily push your faders up quite as high, because realistically, coming out of your main bus, you may never really need to see much more than some signal like that. So You'll see I don't have my faders up very high, maybe in a -10 range. So I'm actually able to have a lot more potential in the console. And the big deal with the gain is in our ability to send to an aux. So I'm gonna turn the gain all the way back down to where it was before, so we're just seeing that one little flicker. And we will head up here, and we're going to look at a meter. And this is the meter for my pulpit wedge. And so with that small amount of gain, as I start to turn up this mix, I have completely and totally dimed that mix out, and I'm really seeing just next to no signal. So me as the engineer now, I don't have the ability to turn that up any louder into that monitor. So I have actually tapped out the potential of that particular bus based on how much gain I'm giving. So I'm going to turn this back down, and then we're going to go and we are going to turn the gain back up so that we've got our ideal level of gain. And we're going to go back to this, and you're going to see that as I turn this up now, we've got tons and tons of potential, and I can actually turn this up to the point where you'll see with the red light flicker I'm actually able to clip the output of that mix bus because I have that much more potential available to me via the input gain. So the one thing that we want to remember with input gain is going to directly affect how much output we have. The one caveat is you don't want too much input gain. So on most of your consoles, if you can see right here, we've got a scaling that goes from -30 up to as high as +18 there. Really what you're looking at is to have your gain be a little bit above 0. If you'll notice here, my gain's flickering anywhere between the +6 and the +9, an occasional +12 on heavy hits. But I'm not in any danger of actually clipping the input, but I'm able to have a lot more potential available to me through those input channels based on turning the input gain up. So I hope this is helpful, and we will be back with more tips as we go.